What I'm about to talk about, it may be the most important thing I've ever talked about on the show, will ever talk about on this show. Bigger than even people who are destroying the entire housing market being pedophiles. I believe that the communists are infiltrating this country through nursery rhymes. Through nursery. It's that simple. They have been infecting our children's minds, and here's my first example. Jack and Jill. It's classic. It's about people going to get, I think it's a brother and sister or something like that, going to get water. It's simple. Allow me to read this. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Later, the spelling was changed, and more verses were added to carry the story further. Up Jack got, and home did trot, as fast as he could caper. Went to bed to mend his head with vinegar and brown paper. Jill came in, and she did grin to see his paper plaster. Mother vexed did whip her next for causing Jack's disaster. This is clearly supporting the Stalinist purges in Russia. Obviously, yeah, as you can see, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. That is a reference to the Russian Revolution. All right, they are marching up the stairs to the Kremlin. The pail of water is the blood of the royal family. And when he falls down the hill, that is the Stalinist regime kind of falling. It's showing the cracks in there. The other stuff, I don't know. We'll decipher that later.
It's definitely communism.
It's definitely communism, yes. This Little Piggy, I believe this was written as a response to George Orwell's Animal Farm, which, as we all know, was a book that anthropomorphized animals, basically made communism on a farm.
Yeah,
yes.
Furry communism.
Furry communism, yes. This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy had roast beef, and this little piggy had none. This little piggy cried, wee, 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 all the way home. Now, what does this mean? What does this mean? Obviously, the little piggy is capitalism. We know that. That is obvious. This little piggy went to market. That is direct. That is obvious. We know that. They can't hide that. This little piggy stayed home. That little piggy is a capitalist that decides to fight against the system, the proletariat. What does that mean, proletariat? I think
proletariat. So that's the working class.
Yes.
So basically, if you don't own any
Yes.
means of production, you are a part of the proletariat. So for instance, if you're rich but you're a doctor, you still have an employer who's like the hospital, right? So you're part of the proletariat.
Commie scum. Anyway, this little piggy stayed home. That is the proletariat. He is deciding to not take part in the system. This little piggy had roast beef. That is the Russian aristocracy before the revolution. This little piggy had none. Those are the peasants. And this little piggy cried wee, wee, wee all the way home. That is a reference to the murder of the Romanovs, the royal family. The wee, wee, wee is the children they murdered. They're trying to inject this into your heads. Now the chorus is wee, wee, wee cried this little piggy. Wee, wee, wee cried this little piggy. As you all the way home. To them, that means all the way to hell. This is obvious. They cannot get away with this. Do not sing these to your kids anymore, all right? Don't read them to into bed. Understand this. Do not watch the Adam Sandler adaptation of Jack and Jill. If only because it's too good of a movie.
I actually haven't seen this movie. Was it good?
It's terrible. Jesus Christ. It's him in drag, in him as he's playing his own twin. It's a bad movie.
I feel like that's a common like overplayed joke that's like not that funny. It's like, oh, he's a man, but he's playing a girl.
It was funny when Medea did it once, Tyler Perry, but then it's just all right.
Yeah, it's overplayed.
Point is, yeah.
The only time when I think it's maybe funny is when you have it like a celebrity, and then it's a guy playing a female celebrity or a girl playing a male celebrity.
Yeah.
That I think makes it a little bit funnier, but I don't know. Still, I think it's
Ring around the rosy. Ring around the rosy. A pocket full of posy. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. The ring around the rosy, that is referring to the hammer and sickle. The ring is the sickle around the hammer. The rosy being the hammer, because they consider that like something good. It's a rose. Roses are red. Communism is red. Obviously. A pocket full of posies. Posy is a flower in the Soviet Union that is made to signal this, that they mean the strength of communism, and I did not make that up at all.
Wait,
ashes.
That's legit. That's real.
Of course it's real, yes.
Damn.
Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. Now, that is a reference to the German invasion of the Soviet Union and the perceived failings of the communist government to prevent that from happening. Obviously. Ashes, it could also mean the smoke rising from the gulags and their ashes of their enemies were thrown in prison mercilessly to fill infrastructure quotas. clearly. Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty back together again. Yes, tech guy.
Oh, no.
Oh, they
was
raised
me
your
raising your hand. Yeah.
Yes, this is obviously a critical look at the Russian royal family, the Romanovs, and specifically a reference to the assassination of Nikolai II. Yes, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. The wall was the Kremlin. It was the tower
Ivory Tower.
The ivory tower. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. The Russian Revolution, obviously. The October Revolution, I think. All the king's horses and all the king's men, those are the whites, the white army, couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. That's also the Allied coalition that invaded Russia to put the Romanovs back in power. They couldn't do it. That is signaling the power of communism, which isn't true. Do not teach your children this.